Okay, I hope you can read the coordinates where the Bayport channel marker is. It's the entrance light. And then here, I had my GoPro hooked up to my boat, hauling ass out here to this rack, the Bayport rack. Again, this is the entrance rack. This shows where the channel is to Bayport. That way you just follow all the markers back right to the boat ramp. But I wanted to put this in just so you could see that I'm not bullshitting you about where I'm located. I know it's probably a lot of wasted video, but just to show that I went out here and I mounted, I made myself a little rig up and mounted my camera on it and was filming from this. Now I did post a video, and I do believe I called it Fresh from the Bird Rack, because I was just curious what it would be like to go out to the bird rack and film back toward land, being that a lot of times I've gotten this bird rack perfectly sitting in the water. And you notice right now it is a very, very low tide. Normally this isn't this low. You can actually see the water line up quite high on that pole right there. And that pole you can see a lot of times on a clear visible day sitting right next to it. When I'm at Pine Island, there's a sign way out there to the right. It just went out of the screen. But that pole is a sign that says rock area. And when I'm at Pine Island, it looks like it's right next to this rack, but it's not. It's a good 100 or 200 yards away. But here I am, old goat here, putting up my bracket. Excuse me. I figured I'd put this part in so you can see how it's setting this up. I just mounted me a piece of pipe on a piece of PVC pipe on a piece of board. I clamped the pipe on with some clamps and pre-drilled some holes in it and had some screws all set up to where all I had to do is stick it on this board and screw it in. And you'll see how I got it set up here shortly. Alright, you can see it a little bit right there. Alright, I got some clamps. I got me a coupling on there too at the very bottom so that the pipe wouldn't slip out. This is, I got my remote on there, which was kind of giving me a little problem because the board wasn't big enough, but I weaseled it in there. And it ain't perfect either. It had some wiggle to it. It had some slop, so at times it wasn't level, especially as I turned it. I'm looking like, oh my God, do I put my camera on this thing or not? Wasn't sure. And yeah, it was the P900 that I was using. Back then, that was the only one I had. This was from 2007, December 2nd. So there's a little chill in the air, but the water was still warm. I believe the water was hot because I got really heavy mirroring, as you will see coming up. Again, I probably didn't have to put in all of this, but I don't want somebody to call me a liar saying that I wasn't out on this bird rack doing this. So, hey, the best thing I could do was actually do it. And then I kind of weaseled my boat up underneath there so I could stand in my boat and work the camera. And I actually got some pretty good footage that, again, never really got much attention because everything back towards shore, Bayport, you could see the fishing pier, and it was just mirroring. You could see cars, trucks up on out in the parking lot that were mirroring. You could see how sloppy it is. It isn't really great, but hey, it did the job for what I wanted to do. And like I said, everything was mirroring. You can see where I'm at. I'm about 6 feet off the water there. And of course, I'm hooking my remote up. And yeah, there's a lot of bird poop on this thing too. I was like, ugh. I'm glad I brought a bunch of sanitizer to wash my hands with after I was done. But I put a couple of pictures in here too from the inside when I got up underneath here. You can see how I had my camera mounted. And here how I shoved my boat underneath there to kind of be able to work in there on it. And I had this 38-inch stick. It was a fish stick that I measured that with. And then here's the audio for the video. Like it's getting cut off. It's not getting cut off. It's not getting cut off there. Just that my vision is being ramped up. As you can see the mirroring going on. So what is it mirroring off of? The atmosphere or the water? I think we get some kind of atmospheric mirroring that literally causes a ramp up, and it gives you this illusion that these things are down below the curve. These towers are quite a ways away. I forget exactly how many miles, but we could figure it out, being that I have the maps to do it. But I'm sure it's not 10 or 20 miles. It's more like... Yeah, I think it was 27.9 miles or 8 miles, something like that, from Pine Island to the Crystal River Power Plant. And I think the Bayport Bird Rack is actually a little further than 3.5 miles, but I'm being conservative on that. I'm not very good on that damn Google. Plus two, when I put my GPS readings in, they don't match the GPS readings for Google Earth, off of GPS, which, I wonder why that is. I think they're sneaking something in there on us. All right, I'm going to go back to regular audio. Like I said, boats went by, caused me some disturbance here on my trying to keep the boat from banging on the bird rack. But that's not at full zoom either. So let's give it a little... Oh. That's what I mean every time I touch this thing. And there, I'm even seeing the lights flashing. You see the mirroring of the building too.
Ooh, yes, vivid.
You can see the lights flashing. So it's just it's like it's just mirrored at the top and the bottom. So you can see these lights flashing. So this is a double of the tower. So everything underneath it is being hidden by its own reflection. And in here I say it's a ramping up effect.
Atmosphere I'm looking through. Now, why can't I see them now? There they are. Okay. I also see these lights flashing when I'm up in Arapica. I see these lights flashing. So I say, how can I see these lights flashing at that long of a distance? Yes, these towers are tall. Not that damn tall. And you see where you see how they're double flashing? Backed it off just a tad, or tried to. There's another boat gonna bounce me around here. Look how the wakes just kind of disappear. There's that light down at the bottom. See how it double flashes? That's just the mirroring. So I'm assuming that it's actually just hidden behind the mirroring effect that occurs. It's like I show in all my videos, how things get hidden beyond that mirror. So I missed it again. There's the top. But how far up is that ramping? I'd say quite a bit, because you can see the building that's there to the left of the second tower. Now, I'm gonna scan around here on the horizon. There's me a boat way out there.
Okay, I wanted to leave this in because I thought it's pretty cool. You can see the guys, you can see them mirroring, but you can't actually see the boat that they're standing in. Why? Because it's hidden in that mirror. And I've got a bunch of this footage like this. Um, I've been kind of going through and taking out little pieces. But I got another video too from a little further away, and I'll show you that too with this video.
Okay, I hope you can see that. I know my numbers are a little messed up because my GPS is an old one, but that's my location right now, and here I am.
Okay, see that pole? You can actually see that pole in my videos when I'm filming from Pine Island to these islands. These islands are approximately 4.84 miles, 4.5, something like that. They kind of curve out back toward me a little bit, but I don't think by much. So I think I'm pretty safe by saying it's 4.84 miles from Pine Island. All right, so that's another thing to look at. All right, and then I want to show you this other little video. All right, right here you can see it's fairly high tide, um, and actually it's pretty good high tide. You can see that these islands aren't very high at all. They're 3-4 feet off the water, if that. See those islands out there? I can film them from from Bayport because I can't see the bigger islands, but I can film those rocks that are barely sticking up out there from Bayport at a low perspective. I've got footage of it, and that's what people don't understand, that these things are barely sticking up.
Okay, Crystal River Power Plant, smokestacks, pull away, get both of them in here. Because something's always weird about that. Alright, there's the ramping up, there's the mirror. Everything's hidden underneath the mirror, the glass, because water at this angular resolution becomes like glass. They're just going to let it sit there. Maybe something will open up, who knows. But I know before I've gotten it. Let me just zoom all the way out. It's hard to find this too. Oh, alright. It's hard to tell you. My camera's not that high. Probably my tripod itself is at 5 feet. A couple of feet off the water. Alright. Pull my phone out here. We're going to take a video of it. I just took a picture. So, there's the water here. Let me go get down by the water. So, there's the water here. Let me go get down by the water. And there's my camera sitting there. Really kind of hard to say how high it is. I'm going to say now it's over my head. Got another foot from my feet to the water. Let's say 7-8 feet tops. 7-8 feet tops. And I'm going to zoom back in on it. Like I said, I'm about 7 or 8 feet tops here. And I'm going to let it sit right there. That's a pretty good area. Camera's fairly level. Maybe not perfectly, but it is fairly level. Alright. There's my camera. sitting there. It's really kind of hard to say how high it is. Okay, now it's over my head. Got another foot from my feet to the water. Say 7, 8 feet tops. 7, 8 feet tops.
Alright, I'm not going to put much more on here. As you see as I zoom in, this isn't nothing compared to when I was at the bird rack. Now the bird rack, is only just a mile or so more closer than these islands. But I mean, you can't even see the towers at all. You can't see the cooling towers, but you can see the cooling towers putting off smoke. You can see the other tower putting off smoke, but you can't see any of the stacks. Well, I think you can see one right there in the middle between the two, but you can barely see it. So that means the mirroring was much, much heavier this day than when I was out at the bird rack. The bird rack, I think, I had the visibility, but I also had that heavy mirroring, or should I say magnification, because it brought everything so much closer to me. It was like, wow, pow, right in my face. Where here you can see that all I'm getting is a mirroring of the smoke itself, and no stacks except for that little piece that's in between there. So again, I just wanted to show this. I do have some other footage too that was even better yet. I did post it a long time ago, and I just can't seem to find that footage. I looked, maybe I was looking too quick. It also might be on my 2 terabyte hard drive, which I can't pull or shut this down with these hard drives, because if I pull one out and put another one in, I got to shut it all down, and then I lose it off my my conversion Filmora here. So I'm just going to leave this part, and I'm going to cut it short right here. If you can use any part of this, James, go ahead. I don't mind. You did a good job analyzing that first one. From 4 inches and 28 inches off the water, from Pine Island at 27 point something miles away. Actually, this mirroring effect is, in my opinion, the alternate explanation for things vanishing or for the appearance of a curve. Either way, so it kills the convexed and it kills the concave, if you ask me. I'll be the pig in the middle and be the flat earther, because I see this only really occurring on a flat surface, not on a curved ball. Either it's curving down or curving up. I don't see it happening. So, all right, 24 minutes. Wow, I didn't think it was going to last that long. All right, and if I can find that other video, I'll send you a link to it, and that way I don't have to make another video. You could just rummage through it and find the part where I'm zoomed in on it. But it's pretty cool, because it's seems like you can actually see the ramping up mirror in the other part.